I am Raza. I'm Raza.
And I'm Bailey.
There it is.
And this is Marching into Madness.
Monthly roundup.
Yeah.
Monthly news roundup, yes.
The idea of this video is to help give you like a good caption on what happened this month. Because things are moving at such a fast pace, really easy to forget. Especially with the calamitic disasters we're having lately.
Is that a word?
Calamitic?
Calamitic?
Yeah.
I thought you just made that up as like you added a
No, I
ING.
paid a whole $8,000 to learn words like that.
Me and you did, right? Attaboy.
Earlier this month, America was caught in a race dispute when a Minneapolis police officer killed a man named George Floyd, a black man, evidently. This caused outrage as police brutality was once again at the center of discussion and conversation. Trump's reaction,
Not sure why I'm laughing.
it was surprising.
Yeah.
Man, fully unaware. The abuse of force was highlighted in Washington, D.C. when protesters were dispersed so Trump could simply go to a church to take a picture with a Bible and holding, you see him?
What is more Christian than that, eh?
I know.
What
I need to beat down on people. Reporters were on the scene. They saw and were participating in the peaceful protests when rubber bullets and chemical irritants were deployed on the crowds. Maybe violating the Geneva Convention. Definitely not committing war crimes.
Definitely not. It's not an American thing to do.
The president in Cheeto straight up just fully backed it up by saying that the officers, the government, as well as the independent states need to, quote unquote, dominate the streets.
I'm gonna dominate the streets.
Dominate your...
Yeah! I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. Early in the month, can we?
Yeah.
Early in the month, the president said he would invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807, which is allowing him to deploy troops in response to the riots caused by Floyd's killing. I am mobilizing all federal and local resources, civilian and military, to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans. Adding, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that are spread throughout our country. We will end it now. Backing this up, he threatened to deploy thousands of U.S. Army troops, and deploy troops he did. Their first appearance on the main stage came after the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of freedom and the dignity of all people in the United States. Was defaced, a touch of irony, we would say. The Insurrection Act is unique that it allows the president complete authority to send troops to take out anything he deems a threat in the name of law and order to the state or any American citizen. Worse, he can federalize, conscript any militia, U.S. military, Coast Guard, Air National Guard, state defense force, and modern citizen militia organization. Yes, those big bad boogeyman ones.
Yeah, like the ranchers with the guns and shit.
God,
you know?
there's games and movies tell us it's a bad idea.
I know. Okay.
Good?
Longtime racist, first-time white nationalist, and friend of Ben Shapiro, totally not related.
Oh.
Steve King loses a seat to fellow Republican Randy Finstra in Iowa last month. Yep, apparently there is a line being too problematic for Republicans.
Oh no.
The right-wing representative that served 17 years made waves recently when he said that white culture is superior. Met with a far-right Austrian party with neo-Nazi ties while a Holocaust memorial group paid for his trip. King finally wore out his welcome last year while he casually outlined his racist worldview to the New York Times.
On a lunch.
White nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization. How did this language become so offensive? The GOP lines extended much farther than that, stripping him of his assignments. And even then, I can't fucking keep up with my own script because all he did was look at his party and ask, like, what's wrong with me being a racist?
And being a white nationalist. Hitler wasn't a bad guy. About 20,000 tons of oil, sorry to cut you off. Tons of oil spilled around the Arctic Circle last month. May 29th to be exact. The spill happened when a fuel tank at a power plant near the Serbian city of Norlisivik, there's no V there, collapse. The plant director, has been arrested but not charged and will be in custody until July 31st. The plant is owned by a subsidiary of Norilsk Nickel, which is the world's leading nickel and palladium producer. Fun fact, Norilsk Nickel, owned by Russia's richest man, Vladimir Putin. No, I definitely mean Putin. What?
So it's Vladimir Putin.
Putin.
And then you're supposed to go Putin, and then you go Putin.
Oh, you're not funny.
Right, The Russian Investigative Committee, SK, has launched a criminal case over the pollution and alleged negligence of this. There was a 2-day delay before it got started, but the Russian Minister of Emergency Situations told Putin that the plant had 2 days to contain the spill. Putin, much like our carrot-colored friend, has expressed his anger towards the plant, but publicly done very little. The leaked oil drifted some 12 kilometers from the accident site, turning long stretches of the Ambernyana River into an ominous crimson red. 2020, right?
Ha!
The spill has contaminated nearly 350 square miles.
Pilgrim Farms.
Pilgrim Farms and Claxton Poultry were indicted for price fixing on meat. They worked from 2012 to 2017 to raise prices on the poultry they sell to restaurants. The chiefs of both companies face 10 years in jail and a $1 million fine. The case comes from a Justice Department antitrust investigation into anti-competitive conduct in the poultry industry, aka the pricing police.
Let's get canceled.
Basically, the core of each company's C-suite was acquitted. Pilgrim CEO Jason Penn and former Vice President Roger Austin, along with Claxton's President Maxwell Fry's Vice President Scott Brady, are now to be the first charged in the agency's price-fixing investigation.
White people.
Pilgrim
right?
Farms is one of the best chicken producers in U.S., making up to about 17% of the total market and owned by the world's largest meatpacking company, JBS.SA, a $28 billion industry out of Brazil. They have faced these inflation accusations before. In 2016, Pilgrims, along with other major food companies like Tyson Foods and Purdue Farms, were sued by restaurants and buyers. The company says the price hike is because of the demand, but prosecutors aren't buying it. The $1 million fine could be raised based on the losses accumulated, but that's it. 5 years of rigging the market for simply that. Maybe. I mean, just maybe these guys are buds with Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be.
Or maybe they're president, like friends with the president of Brazil.
Yeah, that guy.
Olsen Buckface.
Yeah. For the first time in 3 months, Trump held his first campaign rally late last month. In the meme of the century, K-pop fans reserved tickets for his rally with no intent of showing up. With Trump bragging about the over 1 million people registered, this meme can be deemed officially a spicy one because of how low the turnout rate at the Oklahoma rally was. Should I be reading this? In fact, city officials stated they expected about 100,000 people to show up, but fewer than 6,000 people attended. Social media users on various platforms, with the worst of them taking the lead, TikTokers, stated they completed the free registration with no intention of going to the rally. The New York Times reported the Korean pop music fans were also encouraging people of other stands to do the same. You only needed your phone number and age to sign up and reserve a ticket. K-pop is going to kill us all, apparently.
And the government's bad at security.
Yeah. Apparently lynching is a crime in America, despite 200 years of trying to overthrow it. As Floyd's death sparks the debate for lynching, America is back. One Republican, Rand Paul, was trying to block the vote. Paul said he is concerned it would allow all minor punishable lynchings. Paul agreed that lynching should be condemned all over, but said minor offenses would impede the whole thing. Paul's amendment did not pass, and now it awaits on the Senate floor. The bill would increase the penalties for those who commit the crimes and the violations already set out in the federal law if the person or the group was found guilty. George Floyd's death started a movement with the Blackout Tuesday, where many took to social media to post black squares like we did. in solidarity. But it did create an interesting dilemma for analyticals, as some would argue the flooding this static image drowned out the prescribed values of Black Lives matters. Many record labels, musicians, even MTV stopped showing it for showing the programming for 8 minutes, the time that George Floyd's neck was under duress. VH1 and Comedy Central also followed the same suit. It's a nice gesture, but it's not enough. Sorry to say that. Yeah.
Well, humpback whales are in Montreal, y'all. So the whale was spotted underneath the Pont de Quebec earlier this week, swimming upstream. By late Saturday morning, it was near the Jacques-Cartier Bridge in Montreal.
Frenchy.
This is apparently the first time a humpback whale made its way into Montreal. This isn't the first whale, though, homies, you know? Even though there's one person here, a beluga found its way into Montreal's waters in 2012. Did you know humpback whales can grow up to 15 meters long, but are very agile? If they get stressed out, they're so big they can knock over your motherfucking yacht, bro.
Bad news. In Ontario, Canada courts have ruled out that accusers of sexual assault or other crimes can use intoxication as a defense. A decade-old law bans such a defense, but Ontario's top court this month declared it unconstitutional for trampling on key rights of the accused. The Women's Legal Education Action Fund, which intervened in the case, called this decision to set back for the victims of sexual assault. The appeals court decision setting aside the law came in a pair of separate cases, which 2 men, both high on drugs, either killed or injured close relatives. Their defense, however, ran afoul of the ban of arguing extreme intoxication. Provincial NDP politician Jill Andrew called on the Ministry of the Attorney General to try to fight the ruling. The Supreme Court of Canada said she should weigh the impact on lives of women, trans women, and sex workers, their bodies, and the justice they deserve after surviving sexual assault or violence.
Chanel, Revlon, and L'Oreal, the 3 biggest cosmetic brands, are moving away from using talc. This move comes after more and more class action lawsuits are being generated against the brands in the US over claims that the mineral causes cancer. Talc, which is sometimes found in the same rock as asbestos, a potent carcinogen, is used in thousands of cosmetic and personal care products to absorb moisture, prevent caking, and add softness. Yeah, you heard that right. Your makeup is made from the same materials as asbestos.
Why is that funny? I don't know why.
In 2017, Chanel disclosed they stopped using talc in most of their products. This came after a California woman alleges she got mesothelioma in part from the asbestos-tainted Chanel and J&J powders she used for decades. Asbestos is the only well-established cause of mesothelioma, a rare and incurable cancer, and that in the lining of the lungs and other sensitive organs. Chanel representative Amy Wyatt said in a deposition that Chanel never used talc in any of its powders. However, the actual lawsuits that accused them in the first place were in 2016.
Yes.
So she was lying.
What a
silly rabbit.
Tricks over kid. Greg Glassman, CEO of CrossFit, has stepped down after George Floyd remarks. His exit came on the day of Floyd's funeral in Texas. Glassman tweeted it on Saturday night. It's Floyd-19. An apparent reference to COVID-19. He doubled down with a follow-up tweet saying, "Your failed model quarantine us, and now you're going to model a solution to racism?" George Floyd's brutal murder sparked riots nationally. He also called an affiliate delusional for questioning why CrossFit had been silent in the killing in Minneapolis. According to BuzzFeed, Glassman told gym owners on a private Zoom call, "We're not mourning George Floyd. I don't think me or my staff are." The result is him stepping down, stating he's retiring. Dave Castro, his successor at the helm of the company. The incoming CEO said CrossFit is a community, one that's global, diverse, and tough. He added, "Our community is hurt through our shared bonds. We bring together millions of people with differing opinions and viewpoints and experiences." Glassman conceived the company as a high school gymnast in his parents' garage in California. It's now affiliated with an estimated 1,000 gyms worldwide. So can we all just admit that maybe it's us and definitely not the toxic behaviors of dude bros promoted by a cult-like organization who forces everyone to do the same exercise on repeat?
A deadlift.
The coach had never mentioned anything about injury in doing these lifts or risks involved.
I find that offensive because if I do CrossFit, I don't do CrossFit. I'm not a loser.
Big victory for the LGBTQ community last month. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the LGBTQ community are protected workers. Again, like lynching. Wow, just now?
Oh my God.
The ruling was a defeat for both employers and Trump and his administration. Trump had a restrained reaction more than normal, telling reporters that he'd read the decision and that some people were surprised. He added, but they've ruled and we live with their decision. That's what it's all about. We live with the decision of the Supreme Court, unless I rig it. Very powerful, a very powerful decision actually, but they have so ruled. The ruling to have an impact on 8.1 million workers in the LGBTQ community, with 11.3 million of them living in the States.
That's a large number.
Still a large way to go, bro. Still a large way.
The fight isn't over yet. Ready for this one, baby girl? A new virus has been found in China. It has become even more infectious to humans. A team of Chinese researchers were looking into influenza virus from 2011 to 2018 and found an H1N1 strain called G1, and it has all the hallmark properties of a pandemic level like COVID. Pig farm workers also showed an elevated levels of the virus in the blood. The author said adding close monitoring in the human population, especially the workers in the swine industry, should be urgently implemented. The Chinese government has said we will take necessary measures to prevent outbreaks and the spread of any virus. Yeah, right. The study said the pigs were considered an important mixture vessel for the generation of pandemic influenza viruses and called for a systematic surveillance of the problem in 2019. China took measures dealing with the avian flu H1N1 in 2019, restricting flights from infected countries and quarantining tens of thousands of people. It is capable of infecting humans, but there is no imminent threat of a pandemic, says Professor Carl Bergstrom, biologist and professor at the University of Washington. I'm like Steve Carell. I like or Anchorman.
I love me. Matt spoken, good looking, love to party and have fun. I don't think we're done blowing shit up today.
Yeah, you see that? That's a funny clip. You hear that? You hear that on? Joe Exotic, famous from the Netflix special Tag King that took over the internet earlier this year, is back in the news, right? So, a federal judge in Oklahoma has ruled in favor of handing over his famous zoo to his nemesis, the woman in the show that totally did not kill her husband, Carol Baskin.
Carol's birthday next month, and we're shipping her 2 of these.
The Joe Exotic is currently serving a 22-year sentence for trying to kill that bitch, Carol Baskin. Just in case anyone cared about this anymore.
I want to write a letter to him, by the way. Worser half of the YouTubers Paul Bros, Jake Paul, is being charged with trespassing during the looting in the Arizona riots. He's being charged with trespassing into an Arizona mall. He filmed himself looting the Scottsdale Fashion Square on May 30th, according to a video and a Scottsdale Police Department press release. Footage of the looting shows Paul is breaking into the mall and is recording himself in the mall. He's such an intelligent YouTuber. Why can't we?
I know.
Why can't we
break
just
in places?
After the charges were announced, Paul tweeted, "Give me the charges, my charges, and let's put the focus back on George Floyd and Black Lives Matter." Special note.
All the YouTubers that
all
we're
the
aware of?
YouTubers we are aware of, they're
blowing
just
up.
going crazy. Fortunately, I'm not sure about you, but all of my favorite YouTubers are still
Right? Oh yeah, I heard PewDiePie's okay.
Yeah, I'm.
So,
Well, fuck you.
Sony officially announced their next console, the PS5. The larger, curvier, and many are calling it
A router. Something in my
No
nipples.
release date has been announced, but it's confirmed to come out around the same time as the Xbox Series X, another chonky boy. There will be 2 versions, one that still takes discs and the other that is all digital. And for those wondering, can be horizontal.
And is a gender fluid. Microsoft is shutting down its streaming service, Mixer, and partnering up with Facebook Gaming. Both companies have declined to share how much the deal is worth, but it can be worth a decent amount of money, right? Mixer, once called Beam, was not a huge deal back in 2006 when Microsoft first bought it, but when Ninja, the Fortnite star, switched the platforms to Mixer, the platform gained a lot more steam. These two brands joining forces is an attempt for Amazon, for Microsoft to take on Amazon. Microsoft has an edge because it has its leg in the gaming world already with PC and Xbox.
Makes sense.
Late last month, social media thingy Reddit banned a bunch of right-wing subreddits. Reddit was first launched in 2005. It was a cesspool for a lot of racist subreddits, and 15 years later, the site took action. Better late than never, right? Yes. The accounts that were being banned are either pro-Trump or just right-wing subreddits and have posted anti-Semitic, anti-Islamic, and misogynistic content in the past. Out of all the bans, our boy Trump's, the Donald subreddit came down as well. He can't catch a break, am I right? A revised content policy announced Monday explicitly states that a group users incite violence or promotes hate based on identity, vulnerability, and prohibited everyone right to use Reddit free of harassment, bullying, and threat of violence, it said. Also, a lot of right-wingers that were being banned on social media are now moving to a place called Parler, which is like a safe space, like Twitter, for racists and Ben Shapiro fans.
Again, not much difference.
Yeah, not much different.
Hong Kong is once again being shafted, this time not by China, by the US of fucking A. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told Congress that the US shouldn't recognize Hong Kong as its own nation, but rather a part of China. This move comes after China released a new security law that will give it greater control of Hong Kong. The term special status refers to the arrangements that recognize the difference between Hong Kong and mainland China. Under the one country, two systems policy put into place when the United Kingdom handed over control of Hong Kong back to Beijing in 1997, the new actions include suspending export license exemptions for sensitive US technology and ending the export of defense equipment to Hong Kong. Bah, bah, bah.
So Amazon has self-driving cars now, eh? That's a thing. Late in June, Amazon announced they will be buying a US self-driving technology company, Zoox, which is developing an autonomous vehicle for ride-hailing service that people would request on their phones. The online retailing giant said Zoox will keep running as a separate business and continue to develop its own autonomous vehicle. No number for the price has been released on the deal, but analysts say it's close to $1 million. Give me $1 million, please. This deal could be Amazon going into a new venture, first delivering things to people, and now they're delivering people to places. Pay me. This wasn't the first time Amazon went into the self-driving business. Early in 2019, it joined other investors in a $530 million US stake in Aurora Innovations. Aurora recently focused on self-driving systems for heavy-duty trucks, much like Logan.
Yeah, how are you gonna get your horses across the road? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Do it again.
Okay, but can I? It's just if I'm on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Can I
Zoox.
also be on a Zune listening to music while I'm on a Zoox? So I can be on a Zoom while listening to Zune in a Zoox.
Yeah.
I like that.
But
IBM is no longer going to support facial recognition software for the government. They are no longer going to offer facial recognition software.
New Chief Executive Officer Arvind Krishna said earlier this month the company said it'll oppose any mass surveillance system in place that promotes racial profiling, and also IBM said it wasn't generating any revenue. Ouch. And a person close to the company stated that this decision was made months ago. IBM's visual technology will be limited only to visual objects detection, not the facial analysis and identification, the person added. I'm Bailey. I'm Raza again.
And this is the end of the video now,
Yes.
so we don't need to put our names back. But
case forgot.
We're grateful you watched. We're trying to actually use the degrees that we paid for and help do some good in this world by like providing knowledge, bro.
Yeah, bro. And as we say at the end of every video, subscribe, hit that notification, hit the bell so you can keep it up to date. We have a Discord now.
Yeah. It's pretty fly.
Join it up.
Share your art, talk about politics, give us some spicy memes, you know.
Give us your resources for editing.
Yeah. Shit like this. You want to send us wacky stories?
And be featured in one of our videos.
Hit us up anywhere.
It's on our social media, his social media, my social media. Just
you'll see the tags for that below.
Yeah.
And this is the only video series you'll find. We're going to try to be extremely consistent. It's the first Monday of every month. So first Monday every month. Ideally, you will be getting an update on what type of wacky shit happened in the world the previous month.
So we hope you guys enjoy this. You're going to see a lot more content from both of us in like the next little bit.
Share this with people who hate reading the news. We want to make things more digestible. If you feel like having a friend that's like a little out of the loop, you know, use your boy. Use
your boys.
You know?
Yeah.
Come on.
We got you.
All right.
We got you. Tell your grandma about us and your hot neighbor.
Your grandma's hot neighbor.
Yeah. Or your hot grandma.
Saw some of your Hindi accent come out there. Detected.
I took it.
That is the first time I've ever heard it come out on you. The D's on detected. I was like, that's the first time I've heard that.